KoJack's live. We've got Joni's game going on here. A $10 on the button PLO game with a $1,000 minimum buy-in. Now, you may recognize some of these characters from some final tables that we've been streaming recently. A lot of great players are in this game so far, and a couple more players are on the way. Let's go ahead and get right on into the action here. We've got Corey in the box right now, shuffling it up like a madman. Now, I believe we are playing 10 on the button, and I do believe we have a straddle already. You can see Mr. Robert there in seat 1. We've got Mr. Frankie, a.k.a. Big Taco, in seat number 4. To his left is Joni herself, the master/mistress of this game. And we've also got Tyler Lockwood there in seat number 7. And there's Mr. Rudy Borg, the winner of the Permian Basin Series Points Championship. He took down the most caches versus buy-ins. He was awarded a great trophy last time we streamed. And here he is playing a large PLO game. And a lot of hearts in his hand. So we'll have to see how this shakes up here. If you're not familiar with PLO, it's a lot like Hold'em, except twice as interesting. You get 4 cards in your hand and have to use 2 of them on the board. So 2 cards from your hand, 3 community cards on the board, and that will give you the best 4-card hand. Now Rudy straddles under the gun. Tyler raises it up. Looks like Tyler's going to scoop a small pot there. Taking down Rudy's straddle as well as his $10 blind bet. Mr. Frankie, Big Taco over there, having a good time. Looks like he's got a very decent stack right now. Let's go ahead and jump into those stacks while we see those cards fly around the table there. Tyler is the chip leader right now, $1,310. Now, we are playing for actual cash here. Big Taco at $12.45. Rudy at $11.40, Robert at $9.25, and Joni at $7.95. Now, it does look like most of these players have bought in for that $1,000, so kind of a $1,000 game, though I do believe the buy-in is uncapped, so these players are able to come in for more than that $1,000 should they choose to. Of course, they can add on for more than that $1,000 if they choose to as well. Look at this. All 4 aces already out in play. Joni holding 2 of them. Big Taco with an ace-queen and Rudy with an ace-jack. Rudy moving from all 4 hearts in his hand to all 4 clubs in his hand and the nut club draw, even though Big Taco also is holding 2 clubs. We could see some violence here. The ace-high flush versus the queen-high flush. And it looks like Rudy is going to raise it up. Joni, $60 is the bet. Rudy raises up to $150. And Joni makes the call. She's got pocket aces. She's got the overpair to the board. That 10 helps her out. She's got a pretty decent wrap here. If Jack were to come off, she will make Broadway. And Rudy's holding the Jack of clubs, so she's not in danger of getting a straight to Rudy's flush. And it looks like Rudy betting out again, $350 this time. Joni really thinking about it. She's got the pocket aces. She actually does have the best hand right now. A couple of straight possibilities. 7-9 gets there. Club draw, certainly live. Joni not blocking those clubs. She's got double suited aces. Great hand to have. And her overpair is good right now. The question is, does she know it? And it looks like she kind of has a sense that it's good, but makes the laydown right there. Tough call to make. You know, you just beat very often. Pocket 8s, pocket 6s, pocket 10s, even pocket queens with the way that the pre-flop action went. Could be there. In that case, you might be drawing dead with those pocket aces or drawing extremely slim. And here we go on to the next hand, and we are joining the game in progress. We've seen 4 hands elapsed so far, so we are very early on in this game. Not a whole lot of craziness has happened yet, but we are just heating up. So Robert is the big winner right now, up 125. Rudy up 90. Big Taco down 35. Tyler down 60. And Joni down 120, according to the graphics. So we may have some miscalculations here. I do believe it is a $1,000 minimum. That would put Robert Biden at 800. Does not sound like him. Mr. Robert is a class act at the table. Always quick with a joke and a funny story. And usually does like to come in fairly deep. So we'll have to see how this goes for the rest of the night. But consider this zero. Consider these numbers basically the zero mark. And we'll see how they change from there. And we've got a lot of action here. 4 cards in each hand, 5 cards on the board, thousands of dollars of chips on the table. And we're going to have a good time tonight. How's everybody doing? Starting to see a couple of viewers showing up into the live stream. Shoot us a like if you wouldn't mind. We do appreciate it. And let me know where you're watching from and if you're rooting for anybody. So far, we are 5-handed, but we do have a couple more players on the way. But even 5-handed here with a game like this, you're going to see a lot of craziness. And, if I'm being honest, I do prefer to play 6 maxes. I like playing 6-handed, short-handed games. Shoot, you know what? Actually, I'm checking my bank account right now. I might be the 6th player. No, I'm kidding. I can't keep up with these guys. Flop comes out 7, 8, 9 with 2 hearts. Robert with the queen high heart draw and a pair of 9s. He's also got a 7 on board, so 2 pair right there. And that 5 helps Robert out at least a little bit. I believe he's now double guttered. And Rudy with the pocket 4s and a pair of 8s, as well as a 10 to go along. He's looking for a 6. But he does fold, as does Robert. Tyler's $50 bet. Looks like it's going to take it down. And he gets that $100 pot. We got Basil in the chat. Whoops. My man. Watching from North Korea as always. Sorry I hit the wrong button there, Basil. I got to switch those around because I do that too often. Actually, it would be a fun game? Switching the buttons around so that the next commentator has no idea which buttons are which. That may be fun. A fun little prank that we can play. Basil, good to see you. Are you going to be jumping in to this PLO game? And here we go. Joni. Not a bad hand right there. Ace, queen, 7 with a lot of hearts there. Tyler also not too bad of a hand. Pocket 10s with a king and an 8. He's got the suited king of spades. And Rudy with a good hand, too. A lot of high cards out here. Ace, queen, jack, 9, 3 clubs. Robert holding all of Tyler's outs there. 9, 7, 5, deuce of spades. Basil in the chat saying, damn it, boy, George. I hope you're not saying, damn it, boy, George. I hope you're saying, damn it, boy, George. A lot of different meanings there. All right, we've got a kid poker imposter here at the table. Apparently, Daniel Negreanu has had it wrong this entire time. And we're actually watching the real kid poker here playing right now. He's got a hat on. He's got a beard. And he's sitting right there in seat number 8. And he actually just dragged a pot with 2 pair as well. That is the actual kid poker right there. Who knew? Who knew Kid Poker was playing at KoJack's this entire time? Hey, Kid Poker, we're happy to have you. The legends precede you. And speaking of which, he's going to drag a pot right there. 110 in profit, 160 total in that pot. We are playing for dollars. This is not a tournament. This is real cash. $1,000 minimum buy. $10 on the button. You love to see it. Now, check this out. We are five-handed. We are playing a cash game. This is definitely not a final table for a large sum of money like we have been seeing the past couple of streams. And these VPIP numbers really back that up. 57%, the lowest VPIP. Robert and Big Taco tied right there. 57% of hands. Rudy playing just about all of them, 85% there. And Joni and Tyler kind of in the middle of the mix, though, still high on that VPIP and 71% of hands. So expect things to get spicy here, to say the least. It is going to be a wild game. And it looks like Kid Poker right there is going to straddle, perhaps, and Rudy's going to call. Robert with the pocket queens. My man Corey in the box, one of my favorite dealers. Dealing out some premium hands here and maybe some wacky beats. King comes out on the flop, pairing Robert's and Joni's king, but Joni actually already has the nut flush. As she checks it, not a whole lot to go around when you have that much of the board locked up. I like the smooth check by Joni. Checks around to her on the button. She's going to throw a stab out. Not a whole lot of other players have much to call. No sets there. Robert with top pair is going to fold. And she shows the flush. She says, I flopped it, Kid Poker. Come at me. A lot of camaraderie here on this game. A lot of these players play together quite frequently, so they will be very familiar with each other's play styles. We might see some crazy bluffs. We are definitely going to see some crazy hands. PLO tends to be that way. And we're also going to see a lot of smiles. Moving on. Technically, hand number 9 beginning. That means we've watched 4 hands already. Joining the game in progress. If you're watching right now, this game is going to be running probably all night. These are some very dedicated players. They love playing PLO. A little more action. A little more strategy. According to them, though, honestly, I'm not convinced. My theory is that nobody actually knows how to play PLO, and it's all luck-based. At least that's my understanding of the game. Ace 10-5 on the flop. Rudy with a set of 10s. Kid Poker there, decent wrap. He's got the 4 and the 6. Joni with the 5-3. Also pretty decent right there. She makes a pair of 10s. Rudy bets 25. Joni raises it up. He's got to love that check raise. And he does, in fact, raise it up again. The rare 3-bet on the flop. Rudy's 10s are best. He's going to throw out a $50 bet. Joni's going to snap call. And there's a 9. Rudy with a set and a pair of 9s. Of course, the set is going to show down here. He's going to show it with a little chuckle. And he's going to scoop that pot. $165 headed his way. 310 in the middle. But we are just warming up. We have actually just made it to hand number 10. So we are going to get some craziness going here. It takes a little while for these players to start winning and getting splashy. Or maybe, unfortunately, losing a little bit and getting splashy, trying to claw back to even or turn a profit. You know how it goes. Once you get stuck, you get a little loose, you get a little wild. Depending on your player type, some players, when they win a lot, when they're up, they get a little loose and get a little wild. So we'll have to see how this game develops. But again, we're in it for the long haul. We have just begun the stream. Thank you for watching. Starting to see a couple more viewers lining up here. Thank you for checking us out. Let me know in the chat, what is your favorite PLO hand? A lot of players are talking about favorite Hold'em hands. But what's your favorite PLO hand? And would you rather have deuce, 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 deuce in your hand or ace, 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 ace in your hand? Here we go, down to Joni and Kid Poker. King 9-8, all hearts. Both players flopping a flush. Miss Joni with the up and down straight flush draw, but she doesn't realize she does not want a 10 of hearts to come off. That would give Tyler the higher straight flush. May actually activate our bad beat. I don't believe it's live in PLO. Ooh, a bet of 200 from Tyler, from Kid Poker himself, and Joni makes the snap call. Another heart on the river, a deuce of hearts. Neither player with a straight flush, but both players with flushes. Tyler gets the check mark. Kid Poker scoops a pot. Megan in the chat saying she's also watching from North Korea. How are our streams getting there? Is this pirate radio? This is pretty good. I guess West Texas Poker is very big in North Korea. Both comments from our chat, both commenters are watching from North Korea. And looks like Miss Joni is going to be adding on here, topping up, putting out a couple hundo on the table. Megan saying it's piratepoker.com. It might as well be. We've got a wide reach. What can I say? All the way from Midland, Texas to North Korea. Not only several countries away, several oceans and several continents away. That's got to feel pretty good. Oops. Megan saying, don't take my word for that. That's okay. I won't. I didn't already. And I will not. Megan in the chat saying, Corey is dealing. How wonderful. Call it wonderful, Joni's game. I'm on board with that. This is Joni's game, Kid Poker Edition. Robert with the ace, jack, 10, 6, double suited there. Rudy with the ace, 6, 5, tray. Actually a really, really good hand for low cards. But the board does come out high. King, 9, 8, 2 diamonds. Robert with the higher flush draw, though Joni also has a flush draw. Robert with the backdoor straight flush possibility. Just figured I'd point that out. $180 in the middle. The 9 comes. Any queen? Oh, there's a queen, so Robert does make a straight as well as the flush. Of course, the flush will play. Just one off from the straight flush again. I have a feeling it's going to happen tonight. And Robert's going to drag that pot. $110 in profit headed his way. And we are playing 10 on the button. Chris Gwynn in the chat saying he's tracking the action from North Korea. How bizarre. I guess I'm in North Korea because Chris Gwynn, actually, I'm pretty sure I shook his hand earlier today. He is riding that fast jet between continents. A busy man, to be sure. If you're also watching from North Korea, press 1 in the chat. We're going to have a good time tonight, everybody. Happy Tuesday. At least I think it's Tuesday. We just finished up our Permian Basin Poker series. You may have seen our main event final table live stream where we talked about just how long the hours were for the past couple of days. I'll be honest. This is how I spend my day off. Come in, commentate some poker, and have a good time with the chat. Thank you guys for watching. And thanks for watching poker with us. We're having a good time. Megan in the chat saying, Kim June. Got a couple of ones in the chat, so she's watching from North Korea a couple of times. Basil in the chat saying all of his peeps are watching from North Korea as well. Board comes out with 2 deuces, as well as a king and a 5. Big Taco has the best hand so far with the pocket 9s. 3 9s in his hand, though not a full house. Again, you have to use 2 cards from your hand and 3 community cards. No player with a deuce, so it's going to check around on this river. Big Taco shows it down and drags a pot. $40 headed his way. Megan quoting the fantastic movie Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. And here we go. We're moving on to the next hand here. Chris Gwynn pointing out a potential security leak, saying North Korea might know too many of our secrets here at KoJack's Live. It is possible. It is highly likely that they're spying on us right now through the chat. Press D in the chat to fire off the disruptor laser beam. And it looks like we're going to be doing a bomb pot here. As if PLO wasn't action-packed enough, we are doing bomb pots on dealer change for $25. Well, maybe we're doing a pseudo bomb pot here, where all players ante up and get to the flop. I'm being told from our senior North Korea correspondent here that the second bomb pot works. Okay. He says will work. So for now, we'll just have to read the board from a distance. 6 tray deuce on the top. Is Joni thinking about it? She's going to bet. She's betting $35. Kid Poker himself. Spreading his cards before folding. Rudy himself folding as well. And it looks like Robert may be folding here. And we may have to fast forward here to the next hand. Yeah, it does look like we are having a little trouble. Our North Korea correspondent here, Mr. Chris, IT Guru, is mentioning that graphics had to catch up on this one. And we may have to start fresh on the next bomb pot here in about half an hour. We do dealer changes every half hour. And so we'll have to see if the next one works. Looks like an 8 on the turn there for the top. And the river card. There we go. There's the full board. Possible flush on the bottom. Possible full house on the top. And possible straight. Yeah, looks like we're doing, is that a horse race? We do have a lot of different promotions going on here at KoJack's, not the least of which is our football bingo board. I'll be honest, I am unsure of what to call it, but I think football bingo board suffices. Now, we do horse races just about every hour, and then we host a Cowboys football game watching party. And at the end of each quarter, we draw numbers on the board, and if your square matches the last digit of the score, you get a cash prize. One of those cash prizes, I believe, up to $700 for one of the quarters. If you are present, you take home the entirety of that cash prize. And if you are not present, you'll get $100. The remainder of that cash prize rolls over into the next week. The Cowboys do have a bye week this week, so we'll have to wait for it next week. But that means a lot of squares up for grabs right now. Quads or better will get you a square, as do our hourly horse races. Joni with a pair of queens and pair of tens in her hand has an overpair to the board. Kid poker right there. Ace jack 7-7, pair of jacks. Top pair, top kicker for him. But Robert does have the nut flush draw. Big Taco's set of sixes is ahead for now. There's a king. And that gives Robert Broadway. And the four of spades gives Robert the nut flush. The absolute nuts he's going to bet out. Looks like $60 bet. Joni thinking about it. Pair of queens, no good. Kid poker folds. And there we go. Mr. Robert shows the flush, the ace of spades. I say it all the time. If I see the ace of spades, I'm going all in. Maybe Robert wishes he had done the same. Could have got a double up there. Not likely, but possible. And we got Mr. Josh in the box right now, one of my favorite dealers. Basil in the chat. Still can't believe he didn't show his quad kings. What a brain fart. I was dealing a PLO game. I believe it was 1-2 round of each, actually. We were on the PLO round. 3 kings on the board. Everybody checks. Basil bets. We all know exactly what he's got. He takes down the pot and did not show his hand. He claims he had the king in his hand, but it was not tabled. So make sure if you want those football squares to table your hand if you get quads or better. Joni's got a pair of nines in her hand. But kid poker, top pair, top kicker. There's a 6 of clubs on the turn. Kid poker versus Rudy. Rudy with 2 pair right now. Kid poker looking for a 2 on the river. And it's an ace. Kid poker spikes a better 2 pair. He gets the check mark. 1,570 in his stack. 260 in the pot. He throws out very close to max bet. 145, about half pot. A little more, maybe 70% pot. Rudy in the straddle position. Does have an ace. He's got 2 pair aces and 8s. He's going to have to think about whether his 2 pair is good. Top and middle pair in a game of PLO. Facing a bet from the kid poker. He makes the call. Kid poker shows the better 2 pair. He gets the check mark. He gets the pot. $550 in the middle there. Headed his way. 285 of that is profit. And a couple of smiles to go around as well. Always feels good to get a nice pot. Especially when your value bet on the river is called. Feels pretty good. Megan in the chat saying she got the bug out of the house. Hashtag Buggate 2024. Good news there. Bugs, sometimes no fun. Speaking of bugs, did we find the North Korea bug in the chat? Do we know, are they actually spying on us? It is possible. We are playing 4-card, not 5-card, though we do have Big O every once in a while. That is a 5-card high-low game. We're just playing PLO high right now. PLO sometimes, actually somewhat frequently, split high-low. Megan pointing out that we were all worried about the bug, so she's glad the bug is out of the house. Yes, indeed. We are all worried about North Korea's bugs. Yes, indeed. And it looks like a walk on the last hand. And with that, we will be moving on here. I was going to pull up the stack sizes, but it's a little too late. That graphic takes a minute to pop up. And before you can read it, sometimes it is gone, especially with a fast dealer like Mr. Josh right there. Robert picking up pocket kings with a 7 and a 6. He does have a suited king 7 of clubs. Big Taco, pretty decent wrap there with an ace to go along with it, though it is not a suited ace. He is in the straddle position. Jack 9-4 on the board. Turn card a 3 of spades brings in a possible flush draw. Both players checking it down to the river, which is a 10. Big Taco hits the straight. He's going to bet. Robert with the pocket kings. He does call a $10 bet, but it is Big Taco who is victorious. Also, with a couple of chuckles as he scoops that pot. Again, a lot of camaraderie between these players. Just about everybody playing very frequently with each other, having a good time. Got a couple of players on the way for this game. So we'll have to see if they do arrive. 5-handed PLO, I think, is the right number for now. And Mr. Josh dealing it out. $10 on the button. No straddle this time. Miss Joni under the gun, maybe wishing she had straddled. She does have pocket kings with a suited king 4 of spades. Not quite the ace of spades. But she is going to call, as is Kid Poker. And it looks like Big Taco going to be raising it up here. No, Rudy raising it up to 50 here. Got a pretty decent hand. He's got that 3 dangler. Not too bad for a low straight. He's also got the 10 for possibly a high straight with that 8 and 6 to go along with it. He is double suited as well. 2 chances to make a flush. And it's Joni who's 3-betting up to 225. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a pot. We are heads up. Miss Joni only 225 behind. Almost certain to get it all in here on just about any flop, but especially that one. Flops a boat, and Rudy makes trip 6s. Of course, he's going to call. Miss Joni all in. Rudy drawing very slim here, just ran into it. That's 666 here, getting close to Halloween. Rudy not entirely out. It's a 5. Miss Joni with 2 boats to choose from. Of course, the King, King, King 6-6 will play. Rudy tables his hand, showing off that 6, saying, otherwise I wouldn't have called you. And Miss Joni getting the double up there at her game. She says, not in my house. And it looks like we've got a preemptive double straddle. There it is. A double straddle is live. I told you this game is going to get wild. It's only a matter of time. $40 to call now. Blind at 10. Straddle for 20. Double straddle for 40. 4 cards for each player. It's about 20 cards out of the deck before anything even happens. And Mr. Robert Worsham right there, folding, not going to call the 40. He had the King Jack 6 tray. Mr. Big Taco here, a suited ace and a suited 8 tray. He's also got the 5-3 on there. Charlie, are you watching? And we are heads up here. Rudy in the double straddle checks his option. 2 hearts on the board. Rudy holding a queen of hearts. A jack on the turn. Gives Rudy actually the best hand here. He's got the pair of jacks with a queen kicker. And it checks down on the river. Rudy's going to scoop that one. Started off pretty big pot pre-flop. That board just about missing everything Big Taco was holding. And only giving Rudy middle pair there, but checks down and he gets the check mark, scooping that pot. Rudy chips up once again. Speaking of chips, let's see what we've got here. We are playing a cash game right now, so all of these chips represent actual dollars. Kid Poker on top, near $2,000 right now. Robert up to $1,125. Big Taco $10.85, Joni at $9.50, and Rudy at $7.40. And Rudy's spreading his cards. He is under the gun here, but I do believe he straddled. Waiting on the graphics here to catch up. And once the hand begins, that chip count graph does go down automatically. Sometimes it just takes a minute for the card reader to respond. I guess the card reader had the day off today too. Ha! Robert with the King, Queen, 10-5. 2 hearts in his hand. A couple of Broadway cards. Kid Poker with a pair of jacks and a 6 tray to go along with it. Miss Joni has used her option for the mystery hand tonight. Rudy, though, raising it up to 100. That's what I like to see. Kid Poker making the call for 80 more. Pot right around 200. 240. 10, 10, 8. There's a 9. Kid Poker with the jacks. But it is Rudy who holds the 7. If he can hit a jack, that would be the gin card for Rudy. Making a straight and getting Kid Poker the set of jacks. Actually, Rudy would not make a straight right there. If he hit a jack. And here we go. 2 cards in your hand must play. Moving on. Hand number 19. Mr. Robert folding right away. Big Taco folding as well. Trying to get those VPIP numbers back down into Earth's orbit. Rudy's still at 78% VPIP, though he is going to play on the button. Calling for just 20 more. Kid Poker versus Rudy once again, and Rudy with the 5 tray hits another three-of-a-kind hand here. Kid Poker with top pair, top kicker. And there's a 9 on the turn. Rudy still best by a long shot. He's going to bet out. $260, a full pot-sized bet. Kid Poker going to figure out if he's good or not, and he does fold. He folds face up with the ace, it looks like. Rudy, I love that. Rudy shows the queen and then shows the 5 tray. What are you talking about? You should have called. I only had a queen. That's too funny. These players, again, do play with each other very frequently. So there is some meta dynamics going on here. Trying to get in each other's heads. Trying to take down the most pots, the biggest pots possible, obviously. That is the goal of poker in general. The fundamental theorem, of course. Win as much as you can, lose as little as you can. Implicit in that, you will win a lot, but you will also lose a lot. And Big Taco 10-8-6-6. We're getting close to Halloween. Big Taco looking for that set of sixes. Joni double suited here. Ace, King, Queen, 4. Robert coming along with the pocket 10s. Rudy with the pocket queens. And Kid Poker with the pocket 5s. Everybody except Miss Joni with a pocket pair. Rudy raising it up to $50. Getting 2 callers. That means we're 3 ways to the flop. It's anyone's game right now. That board runs out. Jack 5 tray. 5-3 keeps hitting. Rudy up and down here for the straight with the pocket queens. 58% to win this hand. 1 diamond on board on that rainbow flop for Miss Joni. 1 spade on there for Mr. Robert. Like in PLO, use 2 card protectors. 170 is the bet made by Rudy. Up and down straight draw, pocket queens. Rudy, a very accomplished PLO player. In fact, just an accomplished poker player in many of its forms. Knows exactly where he's at. Bets it out, trying to go for some value. But gets no callers. And we are moving on here. We've got the next hand here fast approaching. Hand number 21 on the books. We're moving on to hand number 22. All these players sitting right around 1,000, with the exception of Kid Poker. He's up to about 2,000. And Miss Joni will be first to act. She elects not to straddle. Got a lot of clubs in her hand. Perhaps grateful that she did not straddle. Ace 9, 5, 4. That's what we call in the business a lot of clubs. It is an industry term. Mr. Chris Gwynn has just informed me from North Korea that we have missed our second bomb pot as well. In about 15 minutes when we do that dealer change, we might encounter some radio silence. We'll see what happens. We'll make the best of it. King, Queen, 5 on the flop. 2 diamonds. Rudy holding nut diamond draw. Joni, a lot of clubs in her hand. Does miss the club draw. But she does make a pair of 5s at minimum. And Rudy scoops that pot. $135 in the middle. Megan in the chat likes quad lot of clubs. I think anytime we see quad lot of clubs, I'm going to call that the caveman hand. Old Grunk, our ancestor, sure made it through by using those clubs while hunting. Bad joke. Started going nowhere. Tried to abort in the middle of it, but I had made it too far. Megan in the chat. Fantastic joke. No, no, no. Don't encourage that. We don't need more of those bad jokes. Kid Poker double suited here. Ace King 8-6. I'm going to say I like that hand. And under the gun, he does raise it up to just 20. Not a straddle, just a $20 raise. Big Taco with the pocket queens, but the flop comes out 9-8-8. Kid Poker with trips and the flush draw. He's got the world, and he bets right at the pot. $100 in the middle. He bets $100. Let's see if anyone can call. Miss Joni thinking about it. And she elects to fold. She had the pair of nines, but she was second best to Kid Poker's trip eights. Megan with the rally cry, give the people what they want. Yes, that is true. Sometimes it's not the joke that we want, it's the joke we deserve. We're getting philosophical tonight. We're having a good time. Hopefully you're having a good time. Let me know in the chat. Columbus Day was yesterday. Did you do anything? Did you grill anything? Did you have a good time? Are you having a good time tonight? Let me know all about it. If you got any bad beat stories, now is the time to share them. We may have to change the title. KoJack's Live, Joni's PLO Game, Bad Beat Discussion Edition. And Joni with the Queen 10-7 deuce. This is one of the few times 7 deuce is not really that bad. She does call 20. 3 ways to the flop. 60 in the middle. Rudy holding the Queen 8-5 tray. Charlie, you watching? And there it is, Joni. She's got trip 7s now. There's a 6 on the turn. Joni's still ahead. Far and away the leader here in terms of equity. Rudy up and down. He does fold, though. Megan in the chat says she's having a great time. Love to hear it. Perhaps quoting the infamous William Montgomery, a great comedian. He yells a lot. I will not put you guys through that with my William Montgomery impression. But if you do come by KoJack's late at night, you might spy old Mr. Chase, a.k.a. George of the Jungle, doing some William Montgomery impressions. If you haven't seen him, look him up on YouTube. Very funny stuff. Big Taco, King Queen 9 tray. Is going to make the call there. Joni does come along as well. 8-8-7-6. A pretty good hand. I got to say I like Kid Poker's hand the best, though. Flop comes out King High, King 10 tray. 2 diamonds. No player holding 2 diamonds in their hand. No flush draw is live, but it is potentially on the board. Could make these players proceed with a little more caution. Big Taco going to bet out 30. And he drags the pot. He gets another one. I ain't never gonna yell. I ain't never gonna stop not doing William Montgomery impressions. At least on the stream. And we've been going for almost a solid hour now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Still a couple of viewers in the chat. Some very dedicated KoJack's Live fans. Megan, actually, the runaway chat leader right now. Clearly with the most comments. I'm going to give a prize to the winner of who has the most comments. And it may just be the applause sound effect. But it will be dedicated to you. If you want to win, go ahead and light up that chat. The more comments we get, the better we score with the algorithms involved. Maybe we can get that snowball effect going. We're already worldwide, a lot of viewers from North Korea, but we want to go intergalactic. I won't be satisfied until we get viewers from Alpha Centauri. Robert hitting the pair of queens here. 2 clubs on the board, no player holding clubs. Joni is best right now, I believe, with her pocket aces. But Robert has the most equity. He's up and down. He's got the queen. Almost a coin flip here to the river. A 3rd club comes off, but it is the 3, giving Robert the straight. He's got the check mark right now. And what just happened? Looks like Joni drags the pot. Robert folding the best hand, afraid of those clubs. Even though he had a straight. Sometimes straight no good in PLO. A game like PLO, you really want to be very close to the nuts, the best hand possible. And if you are 5th, 6th nuts, you're not going to feel great. You're not going to feel comfortable betting or calling with hands like that. Megan saying she's talkative. It's the pieces in her. I guess she means Pisces. It's possible. Alpha Centauri. That is the Christmas edition of the closest star. Kid Poker with a pair of 4s in his hand and an ace-10 to go along with it. Rudy playing back here. I like to see it. 8-7-7 deuce. Pot is 60. These players are playing very deep stacked. For the bet sizes here. 8-4 Trey on the board. Kid Poker makes a set. Rudy with top pair here. He's going to throw out a bet of 50. Almost a full pot size bet. And it looks like we've got just a smooth call from Kid Poker. Almost 90% equity here. Oh, wait a second. It was a raise, in fact. Usually that 1 chip just means a call, but in this case, he announced raise, a 9 on the turn. Rudy just 5% to win this, drawing very thin. Kid Poker going to bet out 250. And Rudy, almost with a snap call here, does not believe Kid Poker. Pot all the way up to about $800. Here's a river card. It's a 5. Kid Poker actually making the flush. Just can't stop improving. And it looks like he checks it over to Rudy, who bets. And Kid Poker springs the trap, reveals the cards. And Kid Poker takes down the biggest pot of the stream so far. But you better believe we are just heating up. You can see Rudy adding back on here. And Shane Scarborough in the chat. Wow, probably thought clubs. Yeah. Yeah, when you have the dummy end of a straight, you see 3 to a suit on the board. It is a tough call. And Robert had the best hand that time. But Joni plays tight. She plays her image. She could easily have a flush there. And Robert sizing up the player as well as her position and making a fold. Could be the correct fold over time when facing that bet from that player, even with a low straight. Megan in the chat saying, Kid Poker is a great nickname. Yep. Yeah, that's one thing I miss from the, I guess you call it the poker boom, maybe the golden age of poker, was all the nicknames. We had Kid Poker. We had Mike the Mouth Matiso. Bill Ivy. Or sorry, Phil. Phil Ivy. Phil Ivy doesn't even need a nickname. You had Durr, Tom Dwan. What a time to be alive. The Professor as well, certainly a classic guy. Yes, Mr. Brennis, the Shark. A whole bunch of great nicknames. I think that's something that's missing from today's poker scene. But we do have one big advantage from the early 2010s. That is the poker vlogs. Andrew Nemi, the vlog father, I guess you'd call it. We've also got, of course, Brad Owen, Mariano, Wolfgang. A lot of great poker players all making vlogs. Actually, I think it was last time I was watching Doug Polk. He was doing a heads-up match. I believe it was his heads-up match against Phil Hellmuth, the Poker Brat, speaking of nicknames, where Doug Polk says, what do you call a guy who's gone by Kid Poker for 50 years? Of course, Daniel Negreanu is up there. He's been called Kid Poker for a long time. Not exactly a kid anymore. Maybe it's time to retire that nickname, but maybe he never had that nickname all along, and we've actually had Kid Poker at KoJack's this entire time. Mr. Tyler is now Kid Poker. According to Rudy, the points leader for our Permian Basin poker series, so who am I to argue? The man must be correct. Man, Megan in the chat, shots fired, says he's got the hair for it. Daniel, if you're watching, I apologize. Shane, boy, now Johnny the Gambler Scarborough. Yes, indeed. We'll have to use that next time he plays over here. Johnny, a very accomplished player as well. Certainly a fantastic gentleman, too. Indeed, indeed. Johnny the Gambler. I like it. We've got Jack the Natural, Johnny the Gambler. We've got Miss Joni. We got Big Taco here. We got Kid Poker here. I'm not even going to read that one, Megan. I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm sorry, too. I think Daniel Negreanu, one of the pioneers of poker, and actually one of the few players who not only survived the poker boom, still with a great poker career today, but one of the few who has adapted to the post-solver game. And now that I've filled enough air to take up that last bomb pot, we're moving on. Doing a single board game here. 8-4, 2 spades. Rudy with 2 spades in his hand. He's the only player, but he's only looking for a 6-high flush. A 7 of spades on the river. Rudy makes the flush, and he's going to bet. Confident he has the best hand. Really checking around through all 3 streets. And Rudy drags that pot. $75 headed his way. Kid Poker on the button this time. Rudy in the straddle position does throw out $20. Just building the pot before anything happens here. Robert in the dealer position, right next to Robert in seat 1. We've got double vision here. 2 eyes, 4 cards for each player. 4 red chips in front of Rudy. Can Robert call? And he does. He makes the call here. King, Queen, 5 tray for Robert, making Charlie proud. That 5 tray very strong right now, but Joni holding 2 3s in her hand as well. And looks like Rudy's holding a 5. Great hand for the straddle. Usually the straddle is kind of like the big blind special. You never know what you're going to get, but this time he's got a really decent hand, especially if the board comes out low. Kid Poker here, King Jack 10, going to raise it up to 85, a full pot-sized bet pre-flop. Getting a call from Rudy and Big Taco. We're 3 ways to the flop, already 300 in the middle. Pretty good amount of room for some post-flop play. Of course, PLO, the P and the L stands for pot limit. So the bigger the pot is, the more mobility you have with your bet sizes. Queen 9-8 on the flop. Big Taco right there with the straight. But Kid Poker has a better hand. He's also holding the Jack 10 for a straight, but is free rolling with those spades. Board, of course, too high for Rudy's cards to connect. 6-5-4 deuce. Looks like he's going to make the fold there after Kid Poker bets. I'm sorry, Big Taco bets. Kid Poker calling 295. Pot near $1,000. There's a 5 of clubs. All but sure of a chop. Actually, Big Taco pulls ahead. Now he's got the club draw. Taco going all in. Kid Poker calling. And it's a 6 of clubs on the river. Huge percentage to chop the pot, but it's Big Taco who makes the flush on the river and is the one who chips up $2,225 in the middle. The biggest pot we've seen so far for this stream. And Big Taco is going to grab that one. That'll put him all the way up to $2,200.25. Kid Poker was near the $2,000 mark, now down to $1,325. I believe he's still up on the session. A pretty decent amount. Now Rudy right in the middle of the pack there, adding on to just about 2K, $1,935. Megan in the chat saying she knew Big Taco could do it. And he did. He made it. He got there. And Big Taco stacking up his chips, his newfound chips. A lot of red ones there. Looks like he may be the red chip leader. Always a fun game to play at the table. See who has the most of any one color in chips. Shane asking, what is the buy-in? It's a $10 on the button game. I believe the minimum buy-in is $1,000. It typically is. Our graphics are showing that one of the players, maybe 2 of the players, did come in short of that, though not by much. But it should be a $1,000 buy-in. And it is uncapped, so these players can come in for as much as they want. Could see some deep stacked PLO before the night is over. The tendency is that the chips just move around from player to player. When one player gets short, he or she just adds right back on, putting more and more money on the table just about every orbit. Now that we're at hand number 30, we should start to see a lot more money entering the table here. Players beginning to loosen up. Board is Jack 5, Trey, Deuce, Kid Poker with a set of 3s. Rudy drawing slim. But Joni is in the hand. Our graphics need to catch up here. Looks like it's Joni and Kid Poker. Kid Poker lets the set of 3s go. And Rudy folds as well. Joni grabs that pot. A little more than $100 heading her way, it looks like. Yes, sir, Mr. Shane. Come on down. Come see us. Come out to this $1,000 game. If you play anything like Mr. Johnny, I'm sure you'd be a great addition to the game. Johnny Scarborough, a legend here at KoJack's, and just about everywhere he plays. He frequents CCC, I believe, Celebrity Card Club in Odessa, our sister poker club, if I'm not mistaken. Big Taco, pair of jacks with an ace and a 6 to go along with it. He does have a rainbow hand, as does Kid Poker here. And the board comes out rainbow as well. 2 kings and a deuce. Robert with trip kings. Already with a pair of deuces. It looks like Robert's going to bet out here. Pretty close to 40% pot. In fact, exactly 40% pot. He bets 40 into a pot of 100. Miss Joni makes the call. She's also holding a king. Drawing slim, she needs an 8, a 7, or a 6 to get a boat. There's the ace instead. She is now drawing dead. Robert with kings full of aces. He bets 50 into that pot of 180. Good quarter-sized pot bet. Miss Joni calls. The river is a 5. Could save Joni some money. She's carrying a 6 in her hand, but does not boat up. That ace could be a little scary. She's unafraid. She makes the call. Robert tables his hand, gets the check mark, and drags the pot. Shane saying, we stay up too late. Yeah, that is true. That is true. This game is going to be going for a long time after the stream. We've been streaming for about an hour now. Having a good time watching it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Yeah, Shane, you are 100% right. It was closing last night. I didn't get out of here until 8 a.m. And that game was just popping the entire time. We're doing some 1-2 round of each last night. A lot of times our 5 on the button game will go for a very long time. I expect this PLO game to go for a very long time as well. Sunday into Monday morning, I believe I was out at 7 a.m. So, yeah, we do stay open late. If you want to play some poker, if you're a night owl like myself, come on down. If you don't like staying up late, we've also got you covered. We open the doors at 2 p.m. on the weekends and 4 p.m. on the weekdays. We usually have a game going by about 4:30 p.m. If you work a 9 to 5, swing by after work. Come check us out. And here we go again. Flush over flush. This time, Big Taco with the king high flush. Kid Poker with the queen high flush. And there's a king on the river. Inconsequential. But it looks like Kid Poker is going to bet out 75. Big Taco, smooth calling right there. Could have maybe gone for a raise for value. But he does table his hand. The king high flush is good. And he takes a couple more chips away from Kid Poker. Big Taco, the big winner so far tonight. Megan saying, Chase is such a trooper. Thanks for bringing us the action at home. Of course. I wouldn't say exactly a trooper. You never work a day in your life if you're having a good time. I don't know what I'd be doing at home except watching poker and talking about it. So might as well shove a microphone on top of my head. Just start talking about it with you guys. I am glad to bring the poker to the people. You got to give the people what they want. And we sure have a good time doing it. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Thank you for liking and subscribing and leaving comments. And thanks for just viewing. If you're just along for the ride, I'm glad you're here. And I hope you're having a good time. Megan saying it is taco night. It's Taco Tuesday. How could I forget? Of course, Big Taco is the favorite to win. He is up a cool $1,250 since we began the stream. Oh, that must be what happened. I believe the players got started here with the $1,000 buy-in. That's why the graphics were a little bit off at the beginning of the stream. We did play a couple of hands pre-live stream. Shane in the chat saying, right, enjoy what you do. Yes, indeed. That is the secret. If you're working a job, you don't like it that much, here's my advice. Take it as a grain of salt because that is literally all it's worth. Find a job that excites you. And Kid Poker with the Ace, King, King, 7. He's got the spade draw and the backdoor diamond draw to go along with it. Joni with backdoor diamond draw and a pair of jacks. She folds. Turn card black, but not a spade. There's a 10. And it looks like Kid Poker betting at 125. Rudy making the snap call here. He's got the ace, queen, 8 tray. 8%. A 9 on the river does not give Kid Poker the flush, but his pair of kings is best. He's going to think about a sizing here, going for more. Oh, no, he just checks it over. Okay, never mind. Thought he was going to go for thin value here on the river with the over pair, but that 9 does bring in a possible straight. Not going to be called by too many worse hands there. Potentially straights. Flush draws are out of the way. Not going to call a river bet. Kid Poker making the right bet size of check on that river. And it is fall in West Texas, so it is allergy season. Hopefully everybody's beating those allergies okay. I'm having a little trouble myself. I don't know if you can tell.
We just changed to a new hour, so we probably need to do
Mr. Robert in the dealer box. Mr. Robert H. spreading the cards on the reader for Big Taco's hand to be read before he must muck it, as Big Taco is away from the table. He's got enough in winnings. He can pre-fold a hand. Enjoying what you do is the secret to life. Let's see how much these players enjoy that flop. Ace, 8, 4, 2 diamonds. Kid Poker with the diamond draw here. Once again, playing against Rudy. I've seen some blood between these two players. A heart on the turn. Kid Poker now double flush draws. Queen high for diamonds, 10 high for hearts. The ace of hearts, of course, on the board. Got to feel good about that. Rudy betting 40. Kid Poker making the call. Diamond on the river gives Kid Poker the queen high diamond flush. He gets the check mark. He has position. Rudy checks it over to him. Kid Poker sizing up to $75. A nice value bet there that Rudy cannot call. And he does fold. He'll get the button as a consolation prize for the next hand. Kid Poker chipping up. Getting closer to even. So far, Robert and Big Taco really the only winners here tonight. Big Taco 1,230. Robert up 400. Joni, Kid Poker, and Rudy all down for now. But, of course, it is PLO, a game of wild variance. So we're going to see these chips changing hands, flying all over the table before too long. Shane asking, where did I learn to commentate poker? I'm pretty good at it. I appreciate the compliment, Shane. Having a good time. Actually spent almost a decade in broadcasting for local TV. And just watch a lot of poker. I have a weird obsession with Joey Stapleton. I have a whole altar in my closet. Pictures, news articles, snippings. I've even got a small memento of his hair to decorate it. Of course, I'm totally kidding. But I do love Joey Stapleton. I think he's one of the best in the business. Ali Najad, also great, too. And again, Shane, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm just having a good time here. Just watching some poker. I obsessively watch it all the time. Rudy seems to obsessively play it all the time. Again, our points leader for the Permian Basin Poker Series. And this time, he drags another pot. 3 to a flush on the board, but Rudy with the high end of the straight. Going to be good enough to take down that pot. And we're going to go ahead and call this the second act of the poker stream. Firing up another Diet Coke. Get that caffeine in my veins. Let's see what happens on hand number 36. Any multiple of 3, I believe, is going to be a good hand. Joni with the 8-5 tray deuce. Charlie, you watching? She's got the 5 tray. Joni not quite double suited, but she does have all red cards in her hand. Kid Poker, ace, king, king with a 5 dangler. Rudy coming along for the ride. Going to raise it up to $80 from Kid Poker, and Rudy makes the call. It seems like we've got a rivalry brewing here between seats number 10 and number 8. Joni wants to get mixed up in the mix. She's hoping for a low flop. Let's see what Robert deals out here. It's Jack 9-4, 2 clubs. And Joni checks her option. Kid Poker is going to check his option. We're headed off to a turn after Rudy checks. It's a 10 of hearts right here. I believe Rudy has the straight here, 92% equity to show for it, but Joni is the one leading out, betting 90. Not quite a half pot size bet. Kid Poker going to have to think about this one. He's got an overpair, the pocket kings. Any queen will give him Broadway, but he does fold, electing not to chase, and Rudy is going to make the call. He's got the check mark. Joni, unfortunately, drawing dead here. Another 9 on the river. Rudy improves to a set of 9s and a queen high straight. Of course, the queen high straight will play. Joni thinking about her option. Does she go for a third bullet? She has the stone cold bluff. She bets 125. Rudy makes the call and turns over his hand. Or there it is. Rudy gets the pot. Rudy up to $1,520 in his stack. Oh, wait, Joni bluffed him. I misread the action. My apologies, everybody. Joni makes the bet, playing her image. Rudy feels like he can't call. I wonder if we had a card read error, perhaps. Either way, Joni getting the pot through. Rudy does not make the call. Shane saying he used to see me on Fox as the weatherman. I cannot confirm nor deny. But I did spend a little time, perhaps as a Fox-affiliated weatherman, perhaps as an ABC-affiliated weatherman. I am sworn to almost secrecy on that one. Of course, I am winking right now. If I had the camera pulled up. Yeah, I used to do the weather for Fox and ABC here out of Midland. And now we've got Big Taco on the button. We've got Joni in the hand. Rudy and Kid Poker coming along with Robert. 4 ways to the flop. $50 in the middle. 10-5-4. Rudy making 2 pair on the flop. He's got a good wrap as well. And Rudy's going to drag that pot as well, taking him down. Rudy now up to $1,500 in his stack, but Big Taco is still the chip leader. Got a couple of barrels of those greens sitting in front of him. Big Taco up to $2,450. Robert up to $1,140. Joni $1,020. Kid Poker $1,175, and Rudy in $1,560 in chips. This is a cash game. That is actual dollars. Thousands of dollars on the table right now. About $7K by my quick napkin math. What a fun stream. I hope you guys are having as much fun. Oh, Shane, no problem. I'm only kidding. I'm not under NDA or anything like that. Actually, funny story. I started, maybe I shouldn't say this one, but I'm going to anyway. I started commentating here at KoJack's a couple of years ago while I was still under contract, and my previous employer owned the rights to my name and likeness, so I had to use a fake name. Charlie, my co-pilot here, my compadre in the live stream booth, I told him about it, and I said I have to use a nickname, and he pushed the go live button as I was asking him, what is my nickname going to be? And he said, hey, I got Charlie here, and I'm joined by George of the Jungle, and it just stuck. So if you hear me referred to as George, or perhaps Basil earlier in the chat calling me George of the Jungle, that is exactly where that came from. My pseudonym was George of the Jungle for a little while. After I was out of contract, of course, celebrations ensued, and then we started using my real name here, Chase. But enough about me. Let's get back to the poker action. Shane, seriously, no big deal. Don't feel bad about it. I am proud of my work, and I do like it, even though I'm moved on to different types of broadcasting here. Still having a great time watching poker. I'm very fortunate to have chased a couple of different dreams in my life and been able to make a career out of it. Now we've got Rudy in the straddle position here, throwing out $20, so it will be 20 to call. Shane with a capital nice. Yes, indeed. Thank you, my man. And we've got Kid Poker here with a pair of eights, a six, and a tray. Rudy with the ace-jack 6-4. Double suited. Love those double suited hands in PLO. Rudy's going to raise it up, and Kid Poker is going to call. We might have ourselves a pot here, everybody. 120 in the middle. Jack 10-8 coming off. Rudy with top pair, top kicker, but Kid Poker with a set of eights. Check, check on the flop. An ace could give Rudy some false hope, but he does at least have some boat outs. He could be drawing to a better boat than Kid Poker. Rudy's going to bet his outs. He's going to bet his draws. Kid Poker going to call, and the river is a 10. Kid Poker boats up instead of Rudy. Eights full of tens. Rudy bets 100. Kid Poker just with the call. Oh, no, just with the min click up to 200. Rudy thinking he may have stepped in. It may have been counterfeited, but he was behind the whole time. Kid Poker clawing back there. Getting a nice pot. Kid Poker up to 1,365 in his stack. Here's a look at the VPIP numbers while we go through a dealer change here. Robert, one of my favorite dealers. Changing seats with Miss Monica, also one of my favorite dealers. Rudy at 87% VPIP. Unbelievable. That is exactly, or almost exactly the inverse of his VPIP at the final table for the main event. Sitting right around 13%. Now up to 87. Kid Poker at 81%. Joni 71%. Big Taco at 56 and Robert at 48. It is Taco Tuesday. Big Taco is the big winner for this game so far, up over $1,000. And here's a look at the stacks. While Monica shuffles up the next hand, which will be hand number 40. Big Taco up to $2,430. He is the chip leader at the table. He is a fun player to have. Splashy, but not in a bad way. Likes to give action. Likes to drag pots. Doesn't mind losing the small pots if that means winning the big ones. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Joni right at $1,000. And it looks like we are already off to a flop. Oh, we're doing a double board bomb pot here. Get these graphics out of the way. Ace, King, 6 on the top board. And my goldfish memory has already forgotten the bottom board. Big Taco sipping his signature drink right there. A little Sprite Zero with ice. And here we go. Top board. Ace, King, 6. Queen, 6. Something on the bottom board. It is a $25 bomb pot. There we go. Queen, 6, 8 for the bottom board. Big Taco holding an 8, as well as the 5 tray. Charlie, you watching? Joni with the King Jack, the house hand, as well as a 7-4. Looking for a straight there on the bottom board. And there's the 5. on the top. Wrong board for that 5 to hit for Miss Joni. Kid Poker 57% to win this hand, I believe outright, if I'm not mistaken here. He does have a straight on the top, 2 pair on the bottom. Joni 125 to call. Kid Poker's bet. Only Rudy makes the call. This is a sight that is all too familiar. Kid Poker and Rudy going at it once again. 2 deuces on the river. It looks like Kid Poker has the check mark here. Pair of 5s, pair of 6s on the top board. A straight on the bottom board. Her graphics are inverted according to the dealer's perspective. And Kid Poker going to bet. Rudy can't call. Kid Poker gets the check mark, gets the pot. $225 headed into his stack in profit to show for it. We're still building viewers here. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. KoJack's Live coming at you here on Taco Tuesday. And I say that because Big Taco is the big winner so far tonight. We're having a good time. We're splashing around a little bit in the booth. We've got Monica in the box dealing out a horse race right now. If you are unfamiliar, a horse race is just 2 cards, face up, 1 board, 1 run out, see who wins, no action, no betting, but the prize at stake is a square on our football bingo board with the potential to win, I believe, $700 for the highest prize in the quarter. You got to be present to win. So come out and see us next time the Cowboys play. We will be airing that game on almost every one of our TVs here. And we will be watching it, having a good time, probably placing a couple of bets. And we are also going to be giving away cash prizes. Of course, KoJack's not involved in any betting that happens. But players who play poker do like to gamble on other things. So we'll see what happens. Patrick in the chat, my man. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving a comment. How's it going today on this Taco Tuesday? Hope you're doing well, sir. Joni with the Queen 7-6 folds. And look at this. Kid Poker versus Rudy once again. Rudy raising it up here pre-flop. Kid Poker coming along for the ride. Both players going to make something happen here. Ace 10-5 on the flop. Kid Poker with the top pair there. Pair of aces. Rudy with a pair of kings. Not going to be good enough this time. A 7 on the turn. And a jack. Rudy was drawing live to the wheel. But it's Kid Poker's pair of aces actually going to be best here if it goes to showdown. Kid Poker with the check mark only bets 25, and that's too rich for Rudy's blood. He folds, making the correct fold. Patrick saying good. He's in North Dakota. Okay, good to hear it. We've got a couple of viewers from North Korea. Good to see some viewers stateside in old North Dakota. I hope you're staying warm up there, my friend. The seasons are changing. Fall is officially upon us. If I sound a little sniffly to you, well, it's those West Texas allergies. But hopefully, Patrick, you're beating those allergies, and hopefully you're beating the cold up there, which is just now beginning to set in, at least according to my charts. Joni in the +1 position. I think we do have a straddle on this hand. A lot of straddles have been played so far. Joni with the ace 10, 7, 5. Suited ace. Love to see that. Kid Poker with the suited jack 8 tray of diamonds going up against Joni's flush draw here, potentially. And hey, if it's good enough for 10, it's good enough for 20. All 5 players in the pot. We are headed off to a flop 5 ways. 10, 9, 9. Rainbow right there. And a 5 on the turn here. No player with a set. Big Taco's pair of jacks actually best right now. According to the equity chart, a queen will give him a straight. Patrick saying it's a bit chilly. Poker sucks in North Dakota. Well, they do call it Texas Hold'em for a reason. I can't wait to come play at KoJack's. Yes, indeed. We would love to see you out here, sir. Come on by. Have a good old time. And a 6 on the river gives it to Big Taco. Pair of jacks, pair of nines is best on this hand. You just never know what you're going to get in PLO. Sometimes a straight is no good. Sometimes an overpair is good enough to get the pot. Again, my theory, nobody actually knows how to play PLO. I think any tournament will prove me wrong there. Of course, I'm being facetious. Yeah, Patrick, when are you coming back down from North Dakota? Make sure to come in and shake my hand, sir. Would love to see you out here at KoJack's. We got a couple of things in the works for the rest of this month. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing our Crazy Pineapple Tournament. We're going to be doing that every Wednesday for the remainder of October. And I believe Halloween falls on a Wednesday of this year. No, it falls on a Tuesday this year. We'll be doing a live stream. I think we've got Joni's game already lined up for Halloween. Bring a costume. Try and drag some spooky pots. We're not going to be playing with cash for the Halloween live stream. We're going to be playing with candy corn. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But everyone wants a piece of it when you're playing for candy corn. No, I'm kidding. It will be a cash game. It will be a $1,000 buy. And it will be $10 on the button. Patrick saying 2 weeks. Yes, indeed. 2 weeks. We'll see you soon, my friend. I'm sure I'll be here. And look at this. A lot of big hands coming out for this hand here. Big Taco with the 7-5 tray. It looks like he's the only player to fold. Nope. As I say that, $115 is the bet. And only Rudy, Joni, and Kid Poker coming along. Kid Poker with the pocket kings and pocket queens. 2 ways to make a set. Joni with a great wrap there for Broadway and a little bit lower than that. Rudy drawing just slightly lower than that with a King Jack 9-5. Flop comes out king high. The case king is out there. Kid Poker flopping a set and Rudy bets into him. That's got to feel good. 150 to call. That looks like more than 150 from Kid Poker. Shane saying PLO high-low is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm glad. I'll be honest. 4 cards when you're commentating is a lot. 4 cards and 2 pots, that's way a lot. I'm glad I don't have to commentate the high-low version of PLO. High is good enough for me. And it looks like a big bet by Kid Poker is going to be good enough for him. He's going to scoop that pot. One of the bigger pots that we've seen so far tonight. Kid Poker is still clawing back. Looks like he is up over his buys. Now a cool $275 in the black. Or according to our graphics, in the green. He joins the ranks of Robert and Big Taco for the winners so far of the night. Joni and Rudy in the red for now. But of course, PLO high. PLO high is a game of high variance. PLO high-low, a game potentially of even higher variance. A lot more chop pots, a lot more ways to win, but a lot more ways to lose as well. Big Taco still the big winner here on Taco Tuesday. I may have to update the titles. I keep saying it. I like it. Taco Tuesday. Kid Poker here. I believe straddling it up $20. And there is a raise to 40 by Mr. Rudy. Getting a couple of callers here. We are 4 ways to the flop. Mr. Robert sitting this one out, but everyone else coming along. 160 in the middle. Board comes out King 8 deuce. King high flop. Joni flops top pair. but she is outkicked by Kid Poker's pair of eights as a kicker. Kings and eights for Mr. Kid Poker. Rudy with the best hand as far as equity goes. He's got the nut flush draw and a pair of sixes. And that's the big difference between PLO and Hold'em. You got to bet your draws. Because Rudy has the better draws, he has higher equity right now than Kid Poker with two pair. Rudy going to bet. Kid Poker going to fold. Rudy shows a card. Gets a chuckle from the rest of the table. And it looks like Mr. Michael, I believe, coming along. $1,000 buy. We've got a newcomer here. Mr. Michael in seat number 3. Coming along for 1080, according to my graphics. And that looks about right. I believe he's a dealer at one of the clubs in Lubbock, if I'm not mistaken. From up north. It might be Amarillo. It escapes my memory as of now. But he is visiting. KoJack's here. A very good player. And a very nice guy. So we are now six-handed here. I told you we got a couple of players on the way. We've got a few more. They may arrive after the live stream ends. But Michael with the aces. How do you like that? Sitting down, looking at pocket aces with the ace 10 of spades, raising it up to 50. I like the early aggression. Rudy with the ace, king, jack, 7. He's got 3 clubs. I wouldn't call that too many clubs as of yet. But let's see what this flop brings. There's a club on there. There's also a spade and a diamond. Both players with the backdoor flush draw. Let's see what the turn brings. There's a heart completing the rainbow, denying these players their flush draws. Aces are best for now. Rudy drawing slim here. Going to need one of a couple of cards to come off. That 8 not going to be one of Rudy's outs. Michael's aces are best. Rudy in the straddle checks it over. And Michael checks, about to fold there. Thinking there's no way my aces are good with that kind of run out. Again, that's just what happens with PLO. Sometimes an overpair is best. Sometimes a straight no good. Sometimes your flush is beat by a higher flush. And we're moving on. We're already at hand number 46. Hard to believe. We've been streaming for about an hour and a half now. Thanks for checking us out. Still a good couple of viewers in the stream. I do appreciate your viewership. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for the comments. Shane, Megan, Patrick, Basil, all chat champions for today. Having a good time on this Taco Tuesday. Gotta figure out where I can get some tacos for tonight to celebrate. Robert with the king, queen, queen, 7. 3 hearts on board. Big Taco has a lot of clubs. Joni with the pocket 8s and a king 6 to go along with it. Rudy with the ace 10, 5, deuce. 4 ways to the flop. 10, 7, 4. Big Taco makes 2 pair right there. Robert also pairing his 7s. Rudy with the backdoor heart draw. Joni with the backdoor spade draw, though it is only 8 high. Robert betting $40. Miss Joni making the call along with Mr. Rudy.
Yeah, like, you'll keep playing.
And there's a 6 of clubs. Completing the rainbow, denying any flush draws there. It looks like we've got a Mike fan in the chat. Zephyr You'll love to see it. Joni's going to bet. Everyone's going to fold, and Joni's going to chip up again. Joni getting a little closer to the black. Now down only 290. That is one good-sized pot to get back to even or perhaps make a profit. But Big Taco is the chip leader here. $2,450 sitting in front of him. 1965 is in second place there for Mr. Kid Poker. The real Kid Poker, by the way, if you're just tuning in, has been at KoJack's this entire time. Daniel Negreanu, actually the imposter. I know. I was shocked myself, but facts are facts. And Big Taco, 10 to call, is going to lay it down here. No straddle for this hand. Joni with the ace-jack 7 deuce. She's going to fold. Kid Poker, jack 8-6 Trey. He's going to make a call, and Rudy raising it up. King 9-6-4, suited king. And Robert also with the suited king here. 3 ways to the flop, 120 in the middle. Comes out with 2 queens and a deuce. Neither player holding a queen or a deuce. Nobody hitting that flop. That is what we call a whiff. Now Robert, 2 pair, kings, queens with a 10 kicker, gets the check mark, beating out Rudy's kings, queens with a 9 kicker. And there's a jack on the river. Robert got the check mark here. Checks around. Robert shows his hand, and he is going to drag a pot. River King Poker says LFG. Yes, let's go indeed. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to curse on here. So I'll leave that F out of there. But yes, let's go. Let's go, everybody. We are having a good time. It is Taco Tuesday officially with Big Taco, the chip leader here at the table. We've got Joni's game going, and Joni is at the table. She's got $875 in chips sitting in front of her. We're playing a cash game. It is 10 on the button PLO, $10 blinds, 4 cards, 6 players, and a lot of action here coming up. We've been streaming for about an hour and 40 minutes. Thanks for checking us out, everybody. We really appreciate your comments. We appreciate your likes, your subscribes, and your viewership. Most importantly of all, the more viewers we get, the more streams we can put on. And we're having a good time doing it. And Michael with the ace-queen, jack-6. Joni with the king-jack, 8-deuce. And Rudy with the ace-10, 9-7. Michael double suited here. Hits a queen. Rudy with a couple of backdoor possibilities for a straight. Michael with the best hand right now. Bets 125. I like his aggression here. Joni going to make the fold and Rudy making the call. Though drawing slim. There's a 9 on the turn, a 9 of diamonds. Neither player holding 2 diamonds. That flush draw irrelevant for both of these players' actual holdings. And there's a 5. All the flush draws do brick out. Michael's pair of queens and pair of 6s is best. Rudy not making a straight. Not even making a pair. Goes check, check on the river, and Michael gets the check mark. Mike scooping FS. Yep. I will leave the acronyms as the acronyms. Mike scooping once again right here. Mike, a newcomer to the table, already in the black, up 370 right now, joining the ranks of the winners here for this tournament. Sorry, not tournaments, for this cash game. 1190 though for Taco. Big winner, Big Taco, Taco Tuesday. And Robert up 405, Michael up 370, Kid Poker, the real Kid Poker, up 185. Now, if you're watching, you haven't been to KoJack's, you are missing out. This is the best place to play poker. I am a little bit biased. Maybe the best place in the whole world to play poker. We do live streams. We've got KoJack's Live. We've got poker series going on. We just finished up our first Permian Basin poker series. You know what? I'll go ahead and call it. The first Permian Basin poker series of 2024 from KoJack's has wrapped. I don't believe we'll be doing another one for 2024, but it is possible. We still have a little bit of merch left over. Michael spiking a set of kings on this flop, 125 in the pot. Let's see what size he goes with. 50 is the bet. Miss Joni making the call. 2 hearts on board. Joni with the queen high flush draw. Rudy also making the call. He's got ace, queen, 5 deuce. There's a 7 on the turn, a 7 of clubs. No flush for Joni as of yet, but she is drawing to it. Michael hoping the board pairs, but is unfortunately holding a 3 in his hand, making it less likely that that 3 will pair on the board. Looking for a 7 or a deuce. Rudy also holding a deuce. And look at this. Michael shows face up the set of kings. And he scoops another pot right there. Michael up 570 since this stream has begun. Actually, since he sat down just moments ago. I don't think he can lose. Zephyr in the chat saying LFG. Yes, let's go.
We're just about ready to pass out over here.
And we're moving on. We've got just a couple hands remaining. Thanks for checking us out. We do this stream for about 2 hours on Tuesday. 2-hour stream, Taco Tuesday. Big Taco, the big winner tonight. And we do this for you at home, the viewers, the commenters, the likers, the subscribers, and, of course, the poker players of the world. Big Taco, Jack 7-7 trade. Joni, ace, ace, queen 9. Kid Poker. Suited King Jack 8-6. Gonna fold. Rudy with the ace queen Jack 6. And Miss Joni gonna looks like 3 bets it up to 110 and only one caller. Rudy coming along for the ride. Wants to see a flop, has a good hand to do so, but is dominated by Joni's exact holding here. Ace ace queen 9, Jack 9-5 on the board. Rudy making a pair of jacks. He's got top pair. He's got the ace kicker. And he's facing a $250 bet by Joni. A good half pot size, or actually full pot size bet. $755 now in the middle. The board pairs another 9. Joni hits trips. Far and away the equity leader for this hand. And Rudy makes the correct laydown, folding to Joni's bet. 250 was the bet. He folds. Joni scoops another pot. It is her game, after all. Now, almost even, just down a small $20 on the night since the stream began. Big Taco up 1140. It's Taco Tuesday. Michael, the newcomer to the table, though, closing in at 570 in the green. Sat down with just over $1,000, just over $1,000. Rudy down for now, but certainly not out. This game is going to run for a good couple of hours after the stream ends. And again, we've got just a couple of hands left before we put a bow on this thing. Michael getting out of the way with ace, jack, queen. Tight laydown compared to the rest of the table. We've been playing pretty loose, pretty splashy so far. King 10, tray for Joni. 8-4 deuce with a queen for Kid Poker on the button. Flop comes out ace 10 8. Joni with the highest equity so far, but not a lock by any means on this hand. Kid Poker now with 2 pair on the turn, but Rudy has the straight. He's got Broadway with the King Jack. And facing a bet from Kid Poker, Rudy raising it up, trying to pile as many chips into the middle as he possibly can. Joni staring him down, looking a little disappointed. She needs a jack to hit Broadway, but will she get there? It looks like she's going to fold, as does Kid Poker, and Rudy scoops a pot, picking up. The graphics are maybe incorrect there. Rudy picking up that $225 in the middle. Shane saying it's Nacho Tuesday at my house. I like that. Oh, man. That's the best part about nachos, is they're mine, nachos. I know. And here we go. We are on to hand number 52. This may be the last hand of the stream, I believe. Actually, we might have one more. I'll try and push for one more hand if the fans want it. We've got poker here at KoJack's every day of the week. We open the doors at 4 p.m. We usually have a list going by 4 p.m., at least on the weekdays. On the weekends, we open at 2 p.m., and we usually have a list going by about 1:45. So if you want to play some cash games, you want to play some tournaments here at KoJack's, this is the place to do it. We're actually going to be running a crazy pineapple tournament tomorrow. Come by, check that out. If you're not familiar, you get 3 cards. You get a round of betting. You see a flop, and then you must discard one of those 3 cards on the flop before you check, bet, or call, or fold. And then it's just hold 'em thereafter. But it is crazy. Joni with the 2 pair here. She's got aces and 10s, but Rudy is betting out. Oh, no, Joni is betting out. Rudy's calling. We are heads up to the turn. It's a 5. Rudy with a pair of 9s. He's got some straight possibilities here. Looking for a couple of cards here to make that straight, but he's facing a $100 bet by Joni. Shane, yes, CCC is a great place to play poker as well. I'll be honest, I'm a little biased, though. I think KoJack's may just take it by a small margin. CCC, a lot of good players there. A lot of good times. Frank Espino in the chat. Whoops. Chris, I got to give you, I think it's about maybe 45% of the time I push the wrong button.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Yep. Frank, great to have you in the chat, my friend. OT Tuesday, just leaving Orla. Yes, indeed, making that money. Not too bad. Orla about 2 hours away, I believe. Frank was here last night, pretty late in the evening. Did a great job in our free roll.
Good.
But crazy to me how these players can play poker for 9-10 hours and then go to work afterwards for 9-10 hours and then come back here and play poker.
Poker players don't need to sleep.
No, you don't need to calculate math in your head the entire time. Who does that?
No. It's all about the feel.
Oh man, Chris, what did you think of the game tonight?
I mean, it was a good game. It was really interesting. It was fun to kind of sit back there and track that action.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe not quite as much action as we would normally see, but we spent most of the game playing with only 5 players, so that's probably a little bit to be expected.
Yeah, that is part of it. Very splashy pre-flop, but not quite as splashy post-flop is what I noticed. And you're right, 5 players, it's kind of tough. These players play against each other a lot. They probably know almost exactly what each other is holding.
They are pretty good at sussing stuff out. So yeah, they tend to be a pretty good idea of when they're behind and when they're ahead, and every now and then you can sneak something past them. But
yeah, we saw Joni doing just that a couple of times, getting some bluffs through. Yeah, Frank Espino saying Orla's about 3 hours away. Yikes, what a drive. But hey, you got to stay paid, my friend.
Absolutely.
And we got the bomb pots going, huh?
We do have the bomb pots going. A little bit of miscommunication between me and the dealers on the first two, and so we missed a couple of them, but we got that worked out, and we were able to track the next two.
That is to be expected. Yeah, we're trying this bomb pot feature out. We do bomb pots on dealer change and all of our cash games, so we figured why not do it in the live stream, and we kind of found out why not. I'm getting the sign here from our director, our chief IT guy, that this is actually the last hand.
Yep, there was a bet on this bomb pot, and everybody folded. Looks like I may have missed the last fold.
I saw the back of your head there, so I thought maybe we had another 15 minutes to go, but it looks like we are packing up the equipment here. This camera.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. But we had a great time. Thank you to Chris for putting this whole thing on.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for coming in on your day off and giving us some commentary.
Yeah, like I said, what would I be doing otherwise except watching poker, talking to myself? So
absolutely.
let me get this out of the frame here.
Don't know what this
Put
is.
it in
Wrong,
the frame.
Wrong direction there.
There we go. Not sponsored, but hey, Miller Lite if you're watching. Anyway, we had a great time. Yeah, it's my day off. What would I be doing on the couch except watching poker? So I figured I'd just move the couch to the booth.
There you go.
Indeed. Well, thanks, Chris, for putting this thing on. Thanks to the players for coming out to play this big PLO game. Thanks to Joni for putting the game on. And, of course, thank you to you if you're watching. And thanks to everybody in the chat for leaving your comments. We had a great time today. Taco Tuesday. Big Taco, the big winner tonight. And it looks like we're going to be doing another stream, I believe, on Thursday. Is that right?
I believe that is correct, yes.
We got Charlie's game back in action now that the Permian Basin Poker Series is out of the way and on the books. We're going to be resuming business as normal. Charlie should be... Actually, I think it's me.
Is it you?
I think it's me. I don't know. Charlie owes me one, so maybe I can drag him into the booth and see if we can't tag team this thing.
Maybe so. Maybe
We'll see
so.
what happens. All right. Well, thanks to everybody for watching, and we're going to let you go here on your Tuesday. Try and find some tacos to celebrate that victory for Mr. Big Taco. We'll see you next time.